When was the last time that you took a full week off from your business? I'm talking phone in another room, laptop closed, nobody asking you for anything. If your answer is that you genuinely can't remember, or even worse, you don't think that it's possible in your business, then we are going to build something today called the Step Away Stack. And it's going to make a real week away from your business possible without your business falling apart. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Small Business Simplified from the Growth Table. Yes, I did change the name up just a little bit. I am Karin Velez, your business big sister, and I want to start with a little bit of a confession. I am building this Step Away Stack right alongside you. I've been running my own businesses long enough to know how much I need this, and I will be the first to tell you that I have not always had the kind of structure in place that would let me genuinely disappear for a week, okay? The phone has come on vacation. The laptop has come to family weekends. And I know that I am not alone in that. We did leave for 3 weeks at the end of last year and travel in our vintage camper, and I did manage to only get on my laptop one time the whole trip. So this is doable. This is not me preaching from some tropical beach somewhere about a perfect system, although I wish I could. This is me, a working solopreneur, building this with you in real time, because summer is here and I want both of us to actually be able to use it. And I want a repeatable system that I don't have to reinvent every time that we want to leave town. And I want to be clear here, I am talking primarily about solopreneurs and micro businesses. If you have a team, some of this will look a little different, but the underlying context, communicate, capture, continue, come back, this works for every business size. So what I want you to think about is a business that can't run without you for a week is not a business. Okay, you have basically just given yourself a job, right? And take a breath with that, okay? This is not a judgment. This is just clarification of what we're actually building when we build a small business. The whole point is to create something that has its own life, its own systems, its own momentum. We don't want it to collapse the moment that you blink, okay? So today we're going to give your business a little bit of that independent life. And before we build this stack, I want to spend just a few minutes on why this is so hard for so many of us, okay? There are probably 3 real reasons that most solopreneurs can't take a week off. And none of them has anything to do with a lack of discipline or, just not knowing what to do. The first of these is that you are the business. When a client thinks of your business, they think of your face, your voice, your inbox. There's no office, I'm using air bunnies here, to send a question to. There's just you. So when you step away, in their minds, the business has stepped away with you. And that can be a real challenge, but we can solve that with communication. The second is that nothing has been written down or recorded in any way. The reason that you can't hand any part of your business off, even temporarily, is because it all lives in your head. The way that you respond to a returning client, the way that you process an order, the way that you decide whether something is urgent or not. None of it exists anywhere except in your own brain, okay? That's a documentation gap, but that's solvable. And I was just talking about that with some people this morning in terms of using Loom to create different processes or different turnover binders, okay? The third is that you have never given your business permission to keep working without you. And this one is probably more emotional than operational. A lot of us, somewhere underneath, believe that if we're not actively working, our business will fail. And that is the belief that makes us answer emails on vacation, take calls during family dinners, check messages at midnight. Your business probably doesn't actually require that. basically, we probably haven't built the trust that our business can keep moving without us watching it. So the step away stack is going to solve all three of these issues. The step away stack is 4 layers. Each one is designed to do one job. Now, we don't have to build all 4 of these at once. We just have to know what each one does and which one to start with. That first layer is communicate. We are setting expectations before we leave. The second layer is capture. We're going to make sure that nothing important falls through the cracks while we're gone. The third layer is continue, the automations and the systems that are going to keep our operation moving. And then the fourth layer is come back, protecting our re-entry day back into the business so that day one back isn't a total disaster. So let's go through each of these one at a time. The first layer, communicate. The single most important thing that you can do before stepping away from your business is to set clear expectations. Most of the panic that happens when a solopreneur steps away isn't about the systems that we have in place. It's about our clients or our customers feeling like something has gone wrong because they don't know what's happening, right? So the first thing to set up is an out-of-office email autoresponder. This is very basic, but we're not doing the corporate kind that says, I'm out of the office and will respond upon my return. No. Make this sound like you, the way you talk, the way that you respond generally to your customers or your clients, and give people just 3 bits of information: when you'll be back, what they should do if their question is urgent, and a resource of some sort that might help them in the meantime, whether this is your FAQ page on your website or your scheduling link or a recent newsletter they can read or whatever, okay? Something like, hi, thanks for reaching out. I am fully off this week. I'll be back on Monday, June 24th. If you are a current client and something is genuinely urgent, please reply with urgent in the subject and I will see it. If you're a new client, I would love to talk when I'm back. Please book a time here. Put the link in there. In the meantime, you might find what you need on my FAQ page. Put the link there, okay? And then just make sure that you are triaging things when you do see maybe an email that comes through that says it's urgent during that week. Then you make sure that's actually urgent and do not feel the need to answer that email if it is not truly urgent, okay? I know that's hard to do. And, if you don't want to even have to worry about that while you're gone on vacation, then leave that line out. If it's truly urgent, we're going to have to find some other way to handle it, okay? The second thing that you'll want to do is put your social media marketing in either a holding pattern or set it up for the fact that you're going to be gone. Okay, you don't have to disappear from social media. In fact, that often triggers more concern than just telling people what's going on, especially if you've been very consistent. So just a single post that says, I'll be off here this week, I'll be back on Monday. Okay, that sets the expectation. But if you're worried about the algorithm dropping you off, you can also schedule some content to run during your absence so that your feed doesn't go dead. This is what I have done in the past, or I have pre-recorded my podcast episodes and gotten them edited and uploaded so I could leave. That's exactly what I did during those 3 weeks. All of my podcast episodes for my other podcasts were running the entire time I was gone, okay? Set up your voicemail update if you take calls. I don't frequently take calls, but if you do, the same principles. Leave a message about when you're back, what to do if it's urgent, a resource for everything else. And then make sure that you're giving a heads up to your active clients. Anyone that you have ongoing work with should hear it from you directly, not discover that you're gone based on an autoresponder or your voicemail. Okay, so just a short email a couple of weeks before you leave with a clear plan for what's happening with their work while you're gone. That is going to prevent almost every emergency before it happens, and you won't have to worry about that if it's urgent kind of a thing, okay? That's layer 1. None of that is technical. None of it needs any special tools or anything else. It's just communication. And, getting ahead of that actually is probably going to prevent most of the problems. Our second layer is capture. And this is all about making sure that nothing important is lost while you're away. There is a difference between being out of the office and being unreachable to the universe, right? And so, the difference between those two is whatever you design as your capture system. So the first thing is a single inbox. Pick the one place where anything genuinely important is going to land. For most solopreneurs, that's going to be email. But if you use other channels like different apps or direct messages, or you have two different email accounts, or you've got a Slack channel, whatever it is, then set them to forward to that one inbox that you choose while you're gone, or set up auto replies that direct people to that particular inbox, okay? And then pick a review window if you are choosing to have one, okay? This is a personal decision. Some of you want to fully disconnect, and that is absolutely valid. Others are going to want maybe a 15-minute window once a day to scan for genuine emergencies. There is no right answer here. Pick one and stick with it. The wrong move is checking your phone every 20 minutes just in case. That is not stepping away. That's pretending that you're on vacation, okay? One time a day, 15 minutes just to triage if necessary. And that's if you want to do that. Another option here is having a trusted person, whether it's a friend or a peer in your industry or even a virtual assistant that you can hand a list to. And you can sometimes outsource the scan for emergencies job entirely. They check the inbox once a day. They know what counts as urgent, maybe one or two very specific scenarios, and they only contact you for those things. Everything else waits. The point of this second layer is that you can step away with confidence, knowing that if something genuinely catastrophic happens, then you're going to know about it. And knowing that if it's not catastrophic, then you don't have to deal with it right now. Layer 3 is continue. And this is the biggest layer. This is where most of the actual building happens. Layer 3 is about the automations and the systems that let your business keep running when you're not actively pushing the buttons. You know, I am a systems girl. We talk about this all the time. So I'm going to give you 5 specific things to set up. You do not need all 5 before you can take a week off. But the more of these that you have in place, the easier every step away gets. Not just this one, but everyone going forward. This is what I mean by having a system in place to be able to step away, okay? The first is one we already talked about, scheduled content. Whatever marketing channels you use, email, Instagram, LinkedIn, a blog, a podcast, schedule a week or 2 of content ahead of your absence. Most platforms have native scheduling. If yours doesn't, there are free tools that you can use like Buffer or Later that can handle it. The goal is that your audience doesn't notice that you're gone unless you tell them. You can also implement a welcome or nurture email sequence. If new people are subscribing to your email list, signing up for a freebie, or coming in through a lead form, those people should be receiving something automatically, a welcome email, a sequence that introduces them to you, a clear next step. You should have this in place no matter what. But setting this up once means that new leads aren't going to go cold while you're hanging out at the beach. The next thing would be payment systems that work without you. So Stripe payment links, PayPal invoices, a checkout page that works 24/7. If someone wants to buy something from you, they should be able to without needing you to send a custom invoice and follow up 3 times. This is probably one of the single highest leverage automations that you can build because it directly preserves your revenue, okay? But of course, this is going to be based on your individual situation. Another thing would be having a simple FAQ page or some sort of a knowledge base. Almost every solopreneur gets the same 5 or 10 questions over and over again about their product or their service. So put the answers somewhere public, a page on your website, a document that you can link in your autoresponder, a pinned post in your social media. When people can self-serve, you don't have to be available to answer. And then finally, a booking link for new inquiries. If part of your sales process is something like a discovery call, that call should be bookable through a link, Calendly, TidyCal, whatever it is that you use. without you being in the loop. It can be automated, right? The call can be scheduled for after you get back. You just block yourself as not available for the time that you are gone. You don't lose the lead, and you don't have to handle the back and forth from vacation. And again, this is something else that you probably should have in place anyway, right? If you have none of these in place right now, building all 5 at once is too much, right? So pick one. Pick the one that would save you the most stress if you were to step away, okay? Build that one really, really well. Start using it, and then add another one the next time. Although, like I said, some of these really should be in place all the time. And then layer 4 is the comeback. Last layer, right? And it probably would be overlooked if you weren't really thinking about it. Most solopreneurs are great at white knuckling their way out of the office and really terrible at coming back, right? Take a week off, come back to a 400 email inbox, and within an hour of being back in the office, the entire benefit of being able to step away has just evaporated, okay? So plan your reentry, protect it, okay? Plan your first day back before you even leave. Do not schedule client work. Do not book calls. Don't take meetings. Treat your day one as just a re-entry day. You know how we sometimes joke that you need a vacation from your vacation? That is real, okay? So take that day as your vacation from your vacation. Triage your inbox. Read what came in. Make a list of what needs to happen for the rest of the week. That's just what you do during the whole day, just to sort of reacclimate yourself back into the business without getting stressed. Triage your inbox in 3 passes, not 1. Okay, the first pass, delete anything that is truly junk or that's stale. On that second pass, then respond to anything that might take less than 2 minutes to respond to. That third pass, you're going to flag what needs real attention and then schedule it into your week. Trying to handle every email in real time on your first day back is how you absolutely burn out before lunch, and you're questioning why you're even in business for yourself. And consider giving yourself one buffer day. If you are physically returning on Sunday, maybe your first work day should not be Monday. Again, the vacation from the vacation. Build in one quiet day before your sort of client-facing or customer-facing schedule starts back up. That day is where you can actually sort of recover from being away before you go into that first day, the true first day, where you can kind of do some triage. Okay, quick recap. A business that can't run without you for a week is not a business yet, okay? It may be a job that you gave yourself, but we are changing that with this stack. The Step Away stack has 4 layers: communicate, capture, continue, come back. So that first layer, we want clear out of office messages, a social media holding pattern, setting up our voicemails to let people know what is going on, and a direct heads up to our active clients. The layer 2 is just funneling everything to a single inbox, choosing a review window or none at all, or maybe having somebody do that for you to flag genuine emergencies. Layer 3 is scheduling our content, making sure we have a welcome sequence that is set up, making sure our payment systems are automated, that there is an FAQ page somewhere that you can send people to, and maybe a booking link. Pick one of these to build first if you don't have any of them in place already. And that fourth layer is a no client first day back, taking 3 passes to triage that inbox when you do come back, and considering a buffer day before your regular work resumes. You don't need all of this built before you take time off, okay? I didn't have all of this built before I decided that we were leaving for 3 weeks. I built it on the fly and I made it work. So just start with one thing. I want you to hear something before we wrap up. The work of building a step-away stack is not about getting away from your business because you don't love it. So don't let there be any guilt about this, okay? This is about making your business resilient enough to handle your life, your kids, your health, your rest, your bigger thinking. Sometimes maybe you just need a sabbatical away from your business so that you can, get new ideas for how to operate your business. This is the version of you that comes back from taking a real week off is a better business owner than the version that never stops. This is a strategy. It is a business strategy. It is not something luxurious to just take a week off, okay? Okay. If you want a place to keep building alongside other solopreneurs and microbusiness owners who are doing this exact same work, come join us in the Growth Table Small Business Collective. We host monthly workshops. We keep a growing library of practical resources and peer support, and there's direct access to me when you need a nudge or a little step, and we talk about things just like this every single week, every single month. You can find us at growthtablesbc.com, or you can grab the link in the show notes. Next week, we're going to talk about something that pairs really perfectly with what we built today: how to actually set summer hours without losing your blessed clients or your customers. We will get into the scripts, the language, the boundary keeping that makes a lighter schedule possible. You've got this, and I am rooting for you, and I will see you next Wednesday.